Hello guys, good day. Welcome back sa ating channel and welcome back for another lecture dito sa ating division, Criminal Jurisprudence. No? So basically every day we are uploading new review question to help those who are intending to take the board examination for criminologists this June 2022. No? So yan guys, without further ado, let us jump into our discussion for today. No? So for today's discussion, we are going to be talking about the exemption to the rules of arrest. No? Specifically, the warrantless arrest, or otherwise known, as sometimes known as the citizen's arrest. No? So we're going to talk about the exemption to the general rule on arrest, no? And of course, we can be able to do that by answering the question that we have posted below. Okay, so allow me guys to read the question, no, for today. Okay, we have here among the following circumstances when arrest without a warrant is not justified. So basically, no, our question is asking for the exemption, no, or asking for what does not belong to the different circumstances wherein one can perform the so-called citizen's arrest. No? So we have here the choices. No? Letter A, when in the presence of the arresting officer or arresting person, one is committing a crime. So that's number one. Letter B, when the person to be arrested is a prison escapee. And letter C, when the arresting officer has a well-founded belief based on personal knowledge that the person to be arrested had committed a crime. And letter D, none of the above. So the answer for this specific question, guys, I'm telling you na, no, bago pa natin i-discuss, is letter D, no, none of the above. Kasi all of these things are basically the circumstances wherein one person, a private person or an ordinary person or even a police officer may arrest a person without the without the benefit of the so-called warrant of arrest. No? So if you want to know why, no, stay tuned for our discussion. Okay, so we are going to refer our discussion to Rule 113 of the Criminal Procedure talking about arrest. No? Specifically on the Section 5 of Rule 113, wherein it specifies there, no, the circumstances wherein a police officer or a private person may, no, without a warrant of arrest a person. No? So we have only three, actually. We have only three circumstances therein wherein arrest without warrant may be allowed by our law. No? So nangunguna dyan guys, yung of course yung letter A natin. No? Remember this. Ito yung isang circumstances wherein any person may arrest another person even if without a warrant of arrest. No? So ito yung circumstances natin guys. No? When in his presence, whose presence is that? No, the arresting officer. Remember that for warrantless arrest, no, any person can perform or can do arrest, not only police officer. No, so a private person, no, a private citizen may also arrest a person in these following circumstances. No, but then ito dapat yung nandyan. When in his presence, the person to be arrested has committed, no, has committed, he just committed a crime, kakocommit niya lang yung crime, or is actually committing a crime, kasalukuyan siyang nagko-commit ng crime, or is attempting to commit a crime or an offense. No? So in these three circumstances here, wherein yung aarestuhin mong tao had just committed a crime, kakocommit niya lang yung crime, no? At ito ay na-witness mo because paragraph A says that in his presence, dapat you are in your presence, no, one person is committing or had just committed the crime. So yun yung una, kako-commit niya lang yung crime, or hindi na bang kaya is actually committing, which is kasalukuyan niyang kino-commit yung crime, or is attempting to commit a crime. For example, no, habang naglalakad ka, no, nakita mo na itong si Mr. Pedro ay dinukutan niya ng pitaka si Mr. Juan, no? So in your presence, Mr. Pedro had just committed the crime. So if you can be able to arrest Mr. Pedro, no, then you can arrest him without a warrant. No, that is part of the exemption of the so-called arrest without warrant, or the warrantless arrest. Okay? So another circumstances wherein arrest without warrant may be performed is that when an offense has just been committed, no? And he has probable cause to believe based on personal knowledge of facts or circumstances that the person to be arrested has committed the crime. No? Iba ito doon sa una, guys, kasi doon sa una, in your presence halimbawa, nakita mo mismo, no? Nakita mo mismo yung pangyayari. Dito sa pangalawang circumstances natin, guys, you only have the so-called probable cause. No? You only have the so-called probable cause and based on your personal knowledge. You did not witness the person committing the crime. However, any reasonable mind can come up with the conclusion that that person that you are going to arrest had committed the crime. For example, you did not witness Mr. Pedro snatching the wallet of Mr. Juan. Hindi mo siya na-witness. But then, based on the different circumstances present there, halimbawa, nagsisisigaw si Mr. Juan na magnanakaw, something like that, no? So, nakita mo si Mr. Pedro na tumatakbo na may bit na may hawak-hawak na wallet, no? And he is running away from Mr. Juan. Ngayon, you didn't personally witness the crime to be being committed or had been committed and so on, but basing on these different circumstances that we have, that may isang tao sumisigaw doon na may magnanakaw or nanakawan siya, no? At may isang taong may bitbit na pitaka at tumatakbo, nagmamadali, no? At ito ay galing doon sa taong sumisigaw, no? You can conclude, or any person who has any person, no, who has a reasonable mind can come up with the conclusion that this person running towards you could be the person that is allegedly nagnakaw ng pitaka, no? So with that, no, based on the circumstances that we have, you can found the so-called you can come up with the conclusion that based on these circumstances present, that this person is probably the person who committed the crime. So hindi mo siya the witness, but based on the different circumstances present or surrounding the situation that you are in, no, you can create a reasonable, or you can create a conclusion that this person had probably the one who committed the crime. So yun yung isang exemption natin, again, for the performance of arrest without warrant, no? And last, guys, no, ito yung pinaka-last ng circumstances wherein a person may arrest another person without the virtue of a warrant of arrest, no, is when a person to be arrested is a prisoner, no, who escaped from penal establishment or place where he is serving a final judgment or is temporarily confined. Okay? So for example, no, meron kang nakasalamuhan na isang wanted person. I'm not saying you should do this, no? Especially if you are a private citizen, no? Kung ikaw ay tulad ko na ordinaryong mamamayan, no? At wala tayong mga training with regards to these matters, no? I don't suggest na gawin nyo to. But say for example that you are in the situation wherein yung isang tao, no, na wanted person, takas siya sa kulungan or takas siya kung saan man siya nakakonfine, nakita mo siya, nakilala mo siya, and based on your knowledge that this person is an escapee, no, siya ay isang takas sa kulungan, you may arrest that person with or without, no, actually without warrant of arrest. Why? No, kasi hindi siya ay kumbaga is meron ng possibility that meron ng warrant of arrest na nababa sa kanya, plus he is an escapee, meaning that his presence alone, no, yung presence niya pa lang alone is already a crime, no? He is committing the so-called continuing crime, no? Kasi nga tumakas siya, no? Tumakas siya. So yung kahit saan siya pumunta, ang isang taong tumakas sa kulungan, kahit saan siya pumunta, he is already committing a crime. So that goes back to to the first paragraph that we have, that when a person committed or is committing a crime, you may arrest him with or without warrant of arrest. So that is the same thing also with paragraph C. No, kapag ang taong yan ay nakakulong, nakatakas sa kulungan, no, kahit sabihin natin wala pa siyang conviction pero siya ay na-detain, no, sa kulungan, tapos tumakas siya, anybody now, no, be it police officer, an ordinary citizen, no, he may be arrested without the virtue of warrant of arrest. No? So those are the circumstances, guys, no, that a person, no, can arrest another person without the benefit of a warrant of arrest. Kasi we must always remember that an arrest to be valid, no, based on our criminal procedure and based on our law as well as in our constitution, no, na ang isang tao bago arestuhin ay dapat meron itong warrant of arrest. However, no, there are circumstances provided by our criminal procedure, no, wherein a person may be arrested even without a warrant of arrest. And those are the things that we just mentioned a while ago, no? So una, sabi ko nga, no, when in his presence, no, when in the presence of the arresting officer, the person to be arrested had just committed a crime, kakocommit niya yung crime, actually committing a crime, ginagawa niya pa lang yung crime, no, or is attempting to commit a crime. That is one circumstances. Another is that when, no, he has a reasonable belief, no, or he has a probable cause to come up with a conclusion based on his personal knowledge that the person to be arrested had just committed a crime. And lastly, when a person is a prisoner or an escapee. Okay? So that's our short discussion with regards to this matter. No? I hope I was able to impart some knowledge with regards to the question we discussed. No? If you find our lecture and video interesting, no, please like and subscribe to our channel for more updates. No? Remember, we're doing this daily, no, until June 2022, no, para makatulong sa pagpre-prepare ninyo sa pag-take ng board examination. That's it, guys. No? See you on the next lecture. Bye-bye.